So let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dapper Reacts. I am here, as usual, with Kip Davis and Vishanti. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So first of all, welcome. If you are coming here as your first Dapper stream, but already there has been a previous Dapper stream today. I am live for the second time. It was not on my channel, however. It was on the Dr. Dino channel, which is with a doctor with a K and Dino with an E-I. Yeah. It's a cool guy. He does actual paleontology. And we did a stream together. We were taking a look at the presentation that one Ryan Cox gave about how birds aren't dinosaurs over on the Standing for Truth channel. One of my primary examples of any channel with the word truth in it has absolutely no concern for what's true.
Wow, that's a good observation. It's not one that I've ever encountered or considered before, but that's a good one. I'm going to start watching for that now.
The more committed they are to saying I'm seeking the truth, I'm a truth seeker, I'm here for the truth, that's inversely proportional to the actual process that they spend trying to find truth.
Another good example is
I find myself wondering how often I've said such things. So
I haven't noticed you say it a lot, so I don't, probably not much. Yeah. But another one of my favorite examples is JM Truth, who was a flat earther.
Truth.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Anyone who has to look, it's one of those things where it's like there's certain things that if you have to state it explicitly, it makes me automatically suspicious that you felt the need to state it. Right. One of them being that you're concerned with truth, because I consider people being concerned with truth to just be the default. Just any random person on the street, I assume that they would like to know what is true about the things that they at least care about, right? Like, maybe there's some topic they just don't care about at all. So, like, I don't know, maybe like that guy on the street really does not care what's true about, like, the writings of Tolstoy because he doesn't give a crap about Russian literature. Fair. Okay. But about the things he cares about, he probably cares about things that are true. And so when you're like, oh, guys, trust me, I care about what's true. I care about the truth. It's like, yeah... This feels suspicious. This has the same energy as tomato packages that say no cyanide. Like, why are you telling me this?
Or like the packages of turkey bacon that are like gluten-free. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah, it was turkey. What?
Yeah, it's turkey. Anyway, but no, I was saying this is really not helped by the fact that a lot of Let me figure out the right way to describe people who are just like convinced that Greek epistemology is the superior way to go through the world. Those folks have really muddied the waters in terms of what the word truth can mean. Like, they seem to go through their life as if truth has a big T and then like a trademark symbol after it, that it must refer to some overarching metaphysical supernatural truth, you know.
Yep.
And, you know, obviously apologists do that too. It's just like, y'all.
Dr. Dino for $2 says, good afternoon, feeble mammals, or in Dino. And good afternoon, Dr. Dino. Dr. Dino is, in fact, that is the guy I was just live with earlier today.
Just there.
Yeah, and I have two more streams.
He was on my channel yesterday.
Yeah, it's a busy guy. I'm a busy guy today. So after this, I have a stream that I'm inviting Dr. Tapioca Weasel to. I've actually already invited him to it. And we're going to take a look at Roger Spur from Mudfossil University and his attempts at physics. So I am going to torture Dr. Tapioca Weasel by exposing him to Roger's version of particle physics.
You're doing that after this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Actually, I think he mentioned that. So that's wild, because I am also streaming with Dr. Tapioca Weasel today, who's, you know, my favorite astrophysicist weasels in a trench coat. So he's my favorite magnet expert. Okay, good. So he's on my channel every second Saturday night, which is tonight. So
there you go.
Along with Nitty. It's good.
It's a look, if you need a stream to watch somewhere sometime today, one of us has got you covered. I've got a few more super chats.
That's it.
For €5, the Screen Geek says, I'm here, don't shut up, and do take my money. Thank you. Also, does Dapper sound super crisp today? Hit like, everyone. Do I sound super crisp today? Not
Maybe
sure.
It's the computer.
Could
Maybe
be.
It's because you got your new computer, your old computer back.
Hey, if I sound better like this, let me know. So Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, I have a PhD in Truthology from Trust Me Bro University. Yes, that is one of the more trustworthy of the universities.
The Ivy League of Trust Me universities.
It's true. I actually once had someone ask me if Oxford was in the Ivy League, and I was like, no. I was like, that's a strictly American group of schools. Yeah, no non-US schools.
Somebody who's not me. Sorry, Vish, you were saying something.
No, I was just laughing. It's just funny to me.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people
somebody who's
Rutgers is Ivy League.
See, I just totally because I've got Harvard, Yale, Brown, Duke, Princeton, thank you. And
Rutgers.
And then I guess Rutgers, right?
Yeah.
I said Duke already, didn't I? So anyways, somebody who's not me probably knows what the Ivy, what even is that?
It's just a group of schools in the USA that are both old and prestigious. That's it.
Yeah.
Why do they call them Ivy?
They became like a super pretentious thing.
Because the school buildings themselves have a fair bit of ivy growing on them. That's it. That's it.
Brick buildings with ivy on them.
Interesting.
Yep.
So
it's not deep.
Pen.
Tree Clam Tat for $5 says
Tree Clam says Duke isn't Ivy League. Oh, really?
Well, Tree Clam also paid for me to say this milk is RGHB free. Yeah, because it's illegal, and it also doesn't have cyanide or LSD in it. Then there's a Godzilla, a pride flag, a trans flag, and a pirate flag. And we'll take a drink. Thank you very much. Also, we're going to take a drink for Dapper's Professional because when I started up the stream starts soon, I had the wrong one going.
Huh.
So there's a couple.
Is that Petit Flowers says Penn? I assume that's University of Pennsylvania. Because I don't think you can be a state school and be Ivy League, can you?
I don't think there's an actual rule other than convention. Like, it's not like there's a charter.
Okay.
Like, it's literally just a nickname for some random schools that people think are both prestigious and old. Or, well, they are old, but Roshina for $1.99 says, the best physical truth TM comes from Deepak Chopra. Oh, man. My favorite thing about Deepak Chopra, which, by the way, Deepak Chopra, Epstein Files alumnus. But my favorite thing about him is that there is a website that will just take random words that have, like, woo sounds and just spit at you random tweets that sound exactly like Deepak Chopra tweets, even though they're just random words picked off of a random list from a few different
Deepak
templates.
Chopra generator. It's great.
Yep. And it's amazing because if you confront someone with some of these made up tweets and then a selection of his actual tweets, it's very hard to tell the difference between literal random gibberish and Deepak Chopra because they're basically the same thing.
Okay.
So,
I just wanted to, somebody else pointed out here, where was it? That Ivy League, Danielle OS said officially it's about American football. I assume the Ivy League stuff, but see, look at all these ones that I missed. Dartmouth, Cornell, Brown, Dartmouth again, Harvard, Penn, Princeton, and Yale. There we go. Thank you. So I got 1,
Brown.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, Brown. Oh, what? Yeah, I got 4. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Maya saying Yale, University of Pennsylvania, Princeton, Harvard, Dartmouth, Cornell, Columbia. Oh shoot, I forgot about that. I knew that one too. And Brown are all Ivy League schools. So, yeah, and it's not like, I mean, nowadays too. I mean, so many schools, like there's so many very, very good schools out there for you to attend.
There are.
And very often, in my experience, it has more like there's rankings, right? There's global rankings and national rankings for universities every year, a lot of which is kind of bullshit. But The thing that I always paid closer attention to was department rankings. So, like within my field, right? There's some schools that are a lot better than others, and while like Harvard and Yale were always pretty highly ranked, there were other places, right? Like the University of Notre Dame for a while was the place to go and get a PhD in biblical studies, and same with Duke. Like Duke was really really high on that list for a while, and like in the UK, right? I think it's still the case right now that the University of Exeter has the highest ranked ancient Near Eastern Department of Ancient Near Eastern Studies and Biblical Studies.
Where do you think the school that this guy got his degree at?
Prior to that, you're interrupting me. Prior to that, it was, while I was there, it was University of Manchester, consistently top the board in the UK. Okay, I'm done.
Yes, and I'm interrupting because we do have to somewhat stay on some kind of topic.
Oh, sorry. It's just rude. But anyways.
Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, which is more likely to be true and insightful? A statement from Deepak Chopra or a Chinese script tattoo from 2003? Those are both basically the same thing as far as I can tell. All right. So now that we have had a surprisingly extensive conversation about colleges, we are primarily here because we are taking a look at this talk about Baraminology, which is a made-up version of taxonomy from young Earth creationists. And so it's basically just trying to figure out what the created kinds are, which is what they imagine the etymology of Baraminology is, because they took a past tense, third person singular masculine verb and then stuck it before a noun and then think that somehow that means created kind, even though that's not how Hebrew works. Unless I'm wrong. You two are better at Hebrew than I am. Is that how Hebrew works? Can you just use the lexical form of a verb as a passive participle, as an adjective, and then stick it in front of a verb to modify, or a noun to modify it?
I mean, you
this
can do
is
whatever
a
you want.
question.
Doesn't make it intelligible.
It's fair. I was going to say that's a good question you should ask some of my Hebrew students. Because I do teach Hebrew. I wonder if there are any in the chat. But the guys who are just at the very beginning of their journey in the Hebrew language already know the answer to this question.
Is it a no?
No?
Yeah, no.
It's a no. So it's there are pretty specific syntactical conventions in Hebrew that dramatically affect what you can do with the words, and what the words mean.
And sticking the lexical form of a verb in front of a noun does not modify the noun with a passive participle meaning of that verb. That's not how that works.
Guys, there are two of my Hebrew students in the class, or sorry, in the chat. One of them is denying it. And Prixie has pointed out that yes, it's no.
Yeah.
Good job, Prixie. You got that one right. So it's definitely a no.
I mean, it's even just as basic as like, hey, which side of the noun do the adjectives go on?
It's that simple. And guess what? Guess what?
What?
In Hebrew, it matters which side of the noun the adjective is on, as to how you're going to interpret and translate that phrase.
One thing I like is in French
language, they kicking people's ass.
In French, a few adjectives can go or do go before the noun, and there's one in particular that can go on either side, but it changes meaning. So it's pauvre, which means poor. If it's before the noun, it's like it means unfortunate or to be or pitiable. Like oh, that poor guy. Okay. If it's after, it actually just means like that doesn't have much money.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the pauvre is like the poor guy, like this. Oh, that poor guy. But l'homme pauvre means a man who is in fact low on money.
Pobrecito.
Let's see. Egyptomaniac has sent a bunch of ancient Egyptian, which I am not going to try to pronounce because I don't know where to put all the vowels, and I hate the convention of just putting an E between everything. But that also says graphics in your Discord chat, and I did check that, and it definitely says Answers in Genesis is a bag of dicks. Part of the reason I know for that is that one of the determinatives was in fact the penis sign. So we'll take a drink for that. Thank you very much.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. One of the ways to write the word penis in ancient Egyptian is to just draw a penis.
So, Atomic Squirrel, I'm very happy. I'm very happy to extend extra credit to Prixie Purple. And I should point out, Prixie designed an infographic for the consonants and vowels in Hebrew, which is fantastic.
Oh, I saw that. It was great.
Yeah, and I use it. Like I'm teaching, another intro class with another company, and I used it there too, and everybody was very happy with it too.
Yeah, so it's very impressive.
It is,
and she just made it as like her own like personal study aid, right?
That's what she told me. Yeah. So and she's since improved on it couple times.
That's awesome. So we got a couple super chats. Grievous for $5 says, so you all need to know it is a nonsensical term. Sorry. So all you need to know it's a nonsensical term is what I'm going with is bare a minimum of knowledge of the language. Pretend Mothra. I'll take a drink.
Nice.
Yes.
That's very good.
Like, actually, even if you're just familiar with the fact that other languages don't work the way English does, and what some of the most common verb forms that exist in languages are, that's enough to make you suspicious of baraminology. Victoria Macario. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Victoria Macarios for €2 says, what would happen if you switched it pride flag, then the trans flag, then the pride flag, and then AIG is a bag of dicks? Well, we take a drink because you put in AIG as a bag of dicks, so that would happen.
It's just funny that all the people coming up with this and butchering other languages, they're always Anglophones. Always.
Yeah,
no
it
knowledge
does.
of how other languages work, and if they know, they don't care. They're like, oh, I could just take this out of off the page and treat it like it's my language.
As someone who's been to a few East and Southeast Asian countries and seen their use of English, I have to say it is not exclusive to Anglophones, because I have seen some atrocious use of the English language in places like South Korea, Thailand, Japan, Hong Kong.
From young Earth creationist apologists?
No, just from people in general.
Baraminology?
No, it's at least as bad as baraminology in terms of like how badly wrong you're getting English, but they weren't young Earth creationists. They were mostly people selling T-shirts or making signs.
People who are doing like ESL, like that's totally not what I'm talking about. Like Anglophones for whom English is their first primary and usually only language. Even if they took, French or German or Spanish in school, these people are the ones just coming up with the most BS terminology things that you could possibly imagine.
Thank you very much to Gordon Love Science, who just gifted 5 memberships. So here's what we're going to do. Before I take my 5 drinks, we are going to go over what we were just talking about with this guy, and I'm going to hit play while I take the 5 drinks. So this guy had just finished telling us that first he had shown us a taxonomy tree with all the branches going up and saying that, see, this is what they think. And then he turned it upside down, apparently not realizing that actually any orientation other than right to left is pretty common for these kinds of charts. You can find them going top to bottom, bottom to top, and left to right, like all over the literature. There's no actually wrong way to put them. But then he just said that the kinds, see, are the ones at the very bottom of this chart, which I think means that he just said that every kind of animal is a bottom, which I don't think is true. But you know what? I'm not an expert and I haven't asked all of them. It's also kind of rude to just ask them that, right? Like, what business is it of mine?
Hey, are you bottom? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
There's a circumstance where that would be appropriate, and it's not the one that I'm in with all of the kinds of animals. So that is basically where we left this. He did not really discuss much about the etymology other than saying that it came from the Hebrew word bara, as he said it, and min, as he said it, both of which are atrocious pronunciations. And I don't consider myself to be very good at pronouncing Hebrew, so there's that. Also, I tend to be a little bit too Arabic brained. And so I'm like, oh, wait, this letter is the same as this letter in Arabic. And I'll pronounce it that way. And it's like, I'm sorry, but this isn't the 6th century BC. No one says that letter that way anymore. I was like, well, sorry.
Except probably the Yemenites, because they
preserve
a lot of old.
You know what?
A lot of old Hebrew.
If I were going to learn how to pronounce Hebrew from a modern day Hebrew speaker, it would be a Yemeni person.
Yes.
Yeah, a Yemenite Jew would be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have my favorite modern Hebrew pronunciation by like a mile.
Right.
Yeah.
And part of that is that it's much more similar to Arabic, which is the Semitic language that I studied. So, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, look, Arabic just sounds like a nice language. It's very
it is.
It does.
Ears, and modern Hebrew largely sounds like
German,
French with marbles in your mouth, and it just doesn't have the same thing. So I'm like, I love listening to Jews from like Arabic speaking countries because their Hebrew sounds just better.
Yeah. All right, but that's just my own phonetic bias. But we're going to hit play, and I'm going to take those 5 drinks. So here we go.
God created all the original kinds, and since then, we're losing more. E.O. Wilson says we're losing 30,000 animals a year.
I know that guy.
Yeah, but also, we're also evolving animals, right? So there's always 2 things happening at any given point on Earth, like any time on Earth, right? You're both evolving new species, which are then spreading out to create not just species, but entire new families, classes, whatever, right? Over time. And also, some species are going extinct and not resulting in new branches that continue to expand. And sometimes the rate of extinction exceeds the rate of speciation. And we're in one of those situations right now. But at other times, the rate of speciation exceeds the rate of extinction, and we have increased diversity. And both of these things are always happening at various rates. It's just like deposition and erosion, right? Sometimes deposition is higher, sometimes erosion is higher, and it varies through time and place. Right now, we're living through a time when the extinction rate is similar to what it was during the worst of Earth's extinction events, right? We're in a great extinction right now. This is what it looks like. Which is to say, it doesn't actually look all that dramatic, but it's happening anyway. You're just not noticing. But on the other hand, we still have new species forming right now in the wild and in labs. Treeclam Tad says, for $2, my own phonetic bias is Dapper's emo punk band. You know, that actually would be a pretty good band name.
It's a good band name. I like that.
Yeah. So I think this guy just fundamentally does not understand how we both add and lose taxa as time goes.
And I'll almost guarantee you that he doesn't think that anthropogenic climate change is a thing.
Yeah, that's one of those clusters of belief that goes along with young Earth creationism.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a cluster of belief that's like vaccine denial, climate change denial, white supremacy, young Earth creationism. They don't always all go together. And you can definitely find young Earth creationists who don't believe any of those things. Like, for instance, ICR was a big booster and still are for getting your shots, which good for them. But it turns out that their audience are not. Their audience are almost exclusively vaccine skeptics and anti-vaxxers. And they're like, how could this have happened? It's like, I don't know, guys. Maybe there are clusters of belief and that training your audience to reject science has been a bad idea the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this guy almost certainly... Oh, also homophobia, transphobia. Those also are in that cluster, right? Not everyone has all of them. For instance, Bread of Life, young Earth creationist, does not seem to be... actually is an openly affirming and welcoming person to trans people and the LGBTQ. And is trying to push evangelical Christianity, at least within her power, in that direction, which, hey, good for her. But, you know...
Yeah.
Still has a lot of pseudoscientific beliefs, and I'm pretty sure she's an anti-vaxxer, although I don't know for sure. Rebecca, let me know. Sometimes you watch my channel, you might. Anyway.
This is really more what we see at the bottom. We see a forest of life. Now, each of these tree trunks represent different animal kinds. Maybe the pigeon kind, the dog kind, the fruit fly kind.
The pigeon kind.
I'm going to assume that means Columbidae is a kind, because that's the family that pigeons and doves belong to, is Columbidae. But here's the problem, though. it's very obvious that what he's showing us is just the tree of life with an arbitrary cutoff point, right?
Yes.
Because
obviously.
Right. Because the way that you can tell that those little twigs there have the branches that they do is by doing things like comparative morphology and comparative anatomy and comparative genetics and stuff like that. But the problem is that once you do that, you realize you can just extend the branches farther down and they connect to each other the same way that they connect above. And
funny how that works.
There's no objective place to put that cutoff, which is basically the point of Aaron Ra's biology challenge, right? Because his challenge is like, okay, pick 2 organisms that you think are in different kinds, but that evolutionary biology would say are basically sister groups, and tell me how you know that they're not related at all. What is the evidence that I can use to not only tell that these 2 are different, but then go through other organisms and tell whether or not they're in the same kind? And the reason that no one has actually bothered to even attempt the challenge, as far as I can tell, although Donnie and Matt pretended to have met the challenge, they just didn't understand the challenge in the first place. But anyway, is because you just can't. There is no way to tell that 2 organisms are not in the same kind. It's just vibes based, and then occasionally basically backing your vibes up with some math that you've given arbitrary cutoff points to. But the problem with the arbitrary cutoffs is that when we actually use them, we tend to end up recovering either way too many kinds for the creationists, or we end up recovering humans as part of a kind along with chimpanzees and bonobos. So like, they don't like either. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $2 says, and the misogyny, always the misogyny. Yeah, there's a lot of misogyny involved too. That is another big problem. Naramdaput for $5 says, I hear so much about original sin. Have we not come up with better sin since then? That actually reminds me. I actually had
Dapper, look,
thank God for
the ban somebody on stream. I'm so excited. I haven't got to do this in a long time. I'm really thrilled because we have somebody going, is it not affirming bigotry or is it just a different opinion?
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Like talking about how people choosing like religious bigotry. They're like, I just don't agree with your lifestyle. I just don't agree with you being gay. Okay. I don't give a single. Well, I almost dropped the F-bomb. But
I think it would. I would.
The fuck.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst.
I wouldn't feel bad at all
if
you used up R1 and only
she just did.
Who used the F-bomb? No, did she? I didn't even hear. Shoot, because I was talking. I'm sorry.
She said it under her breath, though. It was very low.
That doesn't count. You get to say it again, Vish.
No, it counts.
I'm cool.
This is one of those things I tried to explain. I tried to explain to like family members. Having a difference of opinion is like, do you want pineapple on your pizza or not? That's a difference of opinion. Difference of opinion.
The answer is always yes.
Hey, did you enjoy this movie or not? Do you think this amount of money should be spent on infrastructure in the budget? Those are differences of opinion. I don't like that color tie on you. Okay, cool.
Hey,
I don't
speaking
agree
of movies,
with you being. I don't agree with you being gay. That's not a difference of opinion. That is bigotry because that was not a choice. Like your tie color is a choice. The movies that you watch and enjoy are a choice. Your taste for food is a choice.
Yeah.
So when you're like, oh, I don't agree with I don't care.
Most of the time, being gay is just something that you are, except during June when it's mandatory for everyone.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to affirm everything that Vish said, but I just want to point out also that last week I went to the theater to go see Obsession, and it was a date, and it was fun. It was the funnest date I've had like a very long time. But anyways, we both agreed that it was an amazing movie. And yeah, easily one best movie I've seen in a while. And objectively, everybody should go see it and also agree with me about that. So
okay, that's not a difference of opinion. Those are objective facts.
So that people in the chat don't keep replying to someone who's been sent to the Shadow Realm. What really got it for me wasn't this person saying, "Is it like affirming bigotry? Is it just a difference of opinion?" I was like, "All right, you're treading on some thin ice." And then they followed that up with our Christian rights, human rights. It takes some audacity to be in the cultural hegemon and be like, but what about my rights?
Yeah, and also, if you had stuck
in
around this channel,
you are not persecuted.
Also, if you'd been around this channel for a little while, you'd know that one of the things that I bring up is in fact the plight of Christians around the world who are in fact being oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Horribly in some cases. No, yeah, you're not doing that in North America. So if you want to come talk to me about like Christians who need their rights preserved, we can talk about things like the Church of the East, or basically any Christian group in Iraq, or the Copts in Egypt, or in some cases also the St. Thomas Christians in India, right? Those are places where there are actually Christians who are currently under oppression from various forces, including in the case of India, often other Christians. We can talk about that. You know, we can talk about why it is that the head of the Church of the East is currently based in California instead of Baghdad.
Yeah.
We can. That's a thing we could talk about. Because it turns out, yes, Christian rights are human rights, and there are a lot of Christians who are having their human rights violated. It just turns out that a lot of the people in the United States who are Christians who think their human rights are being violated are actually just complaining about not being able to violate the human rights of other people.
That's exactly it. They think that their chosen, like, religious communal affiliation supersedes other people's basic right to live and access resources that they have with just no question. So.
And of course, Kostiakom says, but Dapper, have you considered that they're not the right type of Christian? Yeah, I have considered that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the biggest part of it as to why Christians just don't seem to care. It's like, Eastern Christians? Sounds fake. Okay.
Oh, right.
My Unfinished Journey for $6.66 says, hail Dapt, Kip, and Vish, and down with arbitrary phylogenetic cutoffs. Yes. With the fist emoji. And down with bigotry too, with another fist emoji. Yes, I agree. Actually, on my previous stream with Doc Dino, we talked about the taxonomic boundary paradox, which is a whole can of worms I'm not getting into right now. But if you want to see me get into it, go check out that stream that I just did.
So I feel like at some point, I need to say some things about this term, baraminology. I'm just not sure when I should bring that up. But,
is it about like the linguistics and the translation stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me read this next super chat from My Unfinished Sock, and then I think it'll be a fine time. Okay. My Unfinished Sock for $2 says, "Don't cosplay persecution. Like and share instead." Thank you very much.
Yes.
By the way, I am going to be keeping the donations tracker going through the next stream. So we have a double chance to basically get bent pizza today. So. Kip,
nice.
Good.
Take it away.
All right. So this term, baraminology, is derived from the combination of the Hebrew verb bara, the Hebrew root, but in terms of its pronunciation, this is probably a Cal third masculine singular verb, bara, which means he created. And then min is a noun, which means kind. Now, if we're just looking at this term strictly on the basis of how it appears, just stripping the scientific nomenclaturology from it, baramin on its own, if you're reading Hebrew, means a kind has created. Because in Hebrew, you begin a sentence conventionally with the verb, and the subject of that sentence is what follows directly on it. If you wanted to convey the sense of what baraminology is using an accurate Hebrew term, it would probably more likely you'd have to use like a passive verb and probably a participle. So a better route would go nivramin, which would be like a kind is created. But for my lights to convey exactly what they're talking about, it probably needs to be then the combination of a plural participle with the plural noun, and probably with that participle in the adjectival position in an attributive position. So it would better be like minim nivraim. Yeah, that's right. So it's just it's very wrong in many ways, and Kip, it's just causing confusion. Yes.
Have you considered that in English, the simple past tense of a weak verb is the same as the passive participle, and that all languages work the exact same way?
No, because they don't.
So now who's the linguist?
But Kip,
yes,
Kip, have you considered not?
Okay,
also true. Yeah. I believe
I get that a lot, Vish.
Yeah, you need, as we heard in my last stream, you might need to read the paper Nuh-uh by Badinsky et al. 2004.
Like, this is the same thing that was going on with Dr. Dan and the guy he was talking to, who again, as per usual, was trying to talk outside his field and repeatedly was like, "Oh, I'm going to have to disagree with you there," and had no justifiable reason to do so.
It's like, oh, that's fine.
Why? I super chatted argument from Nuh-uh, and Dan was like, "Oh, I don't know if that's what's going on." I'm like, "Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
It is. Put me on air. I'll say it to his face."
I talked to Dan off screen before, during, and after, and it is. Yeah. He was trying to be polite to his guest.
Yeah, I know. But
get a couple super chats.
I'm going to disagree with you on what grounds?
Right. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, if those cutoffs were on a woman, this man would be frothing at the mouth about her fashion choices.
Good.
Tree Clam Tan for $5 says, your religious rights end where my human rights begin. If you're preaching that I should not be allowed to live, love, or thrive, you're over the line. Correct. I can't say I disagree there.
Right.
All right. So let me update the counter.
Before you hit play again, did you know that it's only been 11 years since same-sex marriage was legalized? And I don't think that the institution of marriage has been destroyed yet. How much more time does that take?
So actually, I'm pretty sure that within the next 3 years, all marriages that are between people of different sexes will be dissolved. That's what's definitely going to happen.
Because I remember very clearly being told and assured with 100% confidence that legalizing same-sex marriage would destroy marriage. So I'm just wondering, when's that gonna happen?
Has anyone that you know gotten divorced in the last 11 years? Because if so, it's definitely because of marriage equality.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got it.
So it's taken longer than expected, but trust me, the gay agenda is working on it. They're working on ending the institution that they wanted a part of, because that's the thing that makes sense.
Yes.
I am willing to bet that a whole bunch of people have gotten divorced because of marriage equality.
But they went to go marry someone of the same gender?
Not in the way, maybe not in the way they think, right?
Like they wanted to marry someone of the same sex or gender originally, but
I do know
I mean, not even that. I'm thinking more of the fact that, more and more women nowadays are like, God, I don't have to be trapped in this marriage that I hate. I can just leave.
I think that's more attributable to just no fault divorce is probably the bigger cause there, rather than just marriage equality. Mm-hmm. But I also do know a few couples that broke up and then one.
I think one is an expression of the other. But
I think they go together. They definitely.
Someone is asking if I caught Petite Flower's super chat, and I might not have. So let me scroll up. It does. I did miss it. Sorry. Petite Flower for $5 says, when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression.
That's right.
Correct.
Evergreen.
That is why you should step back every once in a while and check to see if the thing you're complaining about is actually just other people gaining access to the thing you have. And if it is, and it's not something that you have exclusively, access to, I don't know, your body or something, and it's not something like that, then maybe calm down a little bit.
I like that Sapphire Plushy Sorceress Light said that I transed my marriage just to make sure our marriage stays valid after the gays take over.
Oh, see, a real crusader out here.
Yeah.
But notice they branch at the top. Different varieties of dogs, different varieties of pigeons, different varieties of fruit flies. Yes, they can micro-evolve within their kind. We know
that would actually be macroevolution, because remember, This man does not know what macroevolution is. Macroevolution is just speciation and above evolution. So anytime
macroevolution is just microevolution plus time.
Yep. It's literally just once you get to the point where the microevolution has led to speciation, now you just call it macroevolution, and nothing about the evolution itself has actually changed. Yeah. So
this was something we talked about with Doc Dino yesterday. Excuse me, is that they can't ever and probably will never define what a kind is because it's just vibes. Mm-hmm. But also the fact that young Earth creationists are the only ones that believe in hyper-evolution. Like, it has to go plaid.
Oh, yeah.
At the rate that they think it happened from the flood to now. Or at least from the flood to when ancient Near Eastern cultures were keeping written records, which is even less time.
We call that horizontal variation or genetic plasticity.
No one calls it that. Those aren't real terms. You might be thinking of phenotypic plasticity, which is the fact that more than one phenotype can be derived from the same genotype, depending on like environmental factors. Like, sort of like I don't know, if say you have an identical twin, and then one of you loafs around on the couch eating potato chips all day, every day, and the other one goes to the gym 5 days a week, you're going to have different phenotypes at the end of that. That's phenotypic plasticity. Yeah. Genetic plasticity, I don't know what that is. Horizontal variation, not a thing. That doesn't mean anything. You might be thinking of horizontal gene transfer. Yeah, go for it.
No.
Okay. Lieutenant Matt, the Navigator for 5, says, we can't have gay marriage. We should all have traditional, sacred, and permanent marriage, just like Henry VIII.
You know, I know some Anglicans. I should ask them, what is the position of the Anglican Church on beheading your wife?
Yikes.
I think they frown on it.
Do they? Actually. That's weird because their founder was definitely a fan.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's kind of like complicated though, because what are they going to do to the king?
Yeah, look, I get it. Like, oh, hey, I'm the bishop of, some place in England, and the king has decided that I'm no longer Catholic. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Or I disapprove of the king's divorce. Okay, what am I going to do about it? Nothing. The answer is nothing.
Good to be the king.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't actually blame like the Anglican bishops of Henry VIII's time for any of this. I just think it would be funny to ask us some Anglican friends, hey, what is the Anglican Church's position on beheading your wife twice?
I would be willing to, to bet that their position is, that's not cool.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean microbes can change into man. And what do we see over time? Fewer and fewer. We're not seeing more animal kinds evolve.
Okay,
we're seeing fewer and fewer.
The problem with that claim, though, is that the only way for us to measure how many animal kinds are evolving is for you to give us a rigorous definition.
Yeah.
Because if we watched...
Kip, maybe we should link Dapper to the video that we were reviewing where the guy actually gave numbers for kinds in animals. Like, that's the first time in my life I've ever seen hard numbers.
That's true. Yeah. So, mammals, birds, and reptiles, right? I'm pretty sure that's...
grab the video while you guys continue.
And he gave numbers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's true. He actually did.
Tree Clam Tad says, my mother is an Episcopal priest. They are not really okay with that history, but it's too late to fix. Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured is the actual answer there. Also, welcome to Tetrapod Petite Flower. Thank you very much for joining. I really do appreciate it. So send some tetrapods to welcome Petite Flower. Yes.
I forgot to mention that the video we were reviewing was by Jason Lyle.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it was going to be complete horse shit.
Yeah. Also, the man whom I always mix up with Nathaniel Jeanson. Because for some reason in my mind, Jason Lyle and Nathaniel Jeanson are the exact same human being, and I cannot separate them.
I mean, what's the qualitative difference anyway?
One of them knows more about physics, and one of them knows more about genetics.
And they both do shit that have nothing to do with either of those things.
And they both are really bad at doing things within their own field.
Yeah. Oh, is that why they do things outside of their field?
That's the general running hypothesis among the science friends, is that a lot of creationists work outside the field that they're actually trained in because they have trouble bringing themselves to lie about their own fields quite enough to do young earth creationist stuff about it.
So I have posted the relevant screenshot thrice. I put it in our chat for this call. I put it in 2 channels on Dapper Dinosaurs server, the Creationism fanfic, and general. So if you're...
Oh, is this Jason Lyle telling us how many kinds there are?
Yeah. He was trying to explain that, like, no, the volume of the arc totally fits these animals. And obviously the chat very smartly was asking, well, how thick were the walls? Because you can't just do pure volume. We don't know how thick the walls of the arc are, which is weird considering how very detailed the description of building the little Ark of the Covenant was. And it does tell you the thickness of the walls. So... Well,
see, the Ark was made of gopher wood, and we don't know what that was. So it was actually probably like a super high-tech polymer resin tree.
Oh, like a...
that has paper-thin walls and floors.
Probably.
So, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So in any event, Doc Dino, who is actually like also really good at math, like me, crunched the numbers to find out that on the two on the bottom end and the top end of the estimates of the actual size of the arc that Jason Lyle gave, it amounted to just over 6 square feet of space per animal on the arc with these
that's numbers. More than I had in the Navy.
What? Shut up. That's not
allotted to me personally. Allotted to me personally, yes, it is possible, and it is true. As far as like
possible, where would you sleep? You can't sleep on 6 square feet. Nobody who can sleep. You need to be a baby.
I feel like you have not seen the dimensions of a rack. Yeah. This is something that is not even like a full 4 feet across.
Very cramped. Yeah.
It's not 6 feet long.
And then how long?
It's about 5-ish.
That's still more than 6 square feet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go for cubic feet, it's a surprisingly small amount.
Okay.
With the bunks on like a ship, they don't eat, sleep, and defecate in that one little space. There are separate places for all of that. So
technically
it's not a problem to cram that many people on a boat. However, it would be a massive problem on an ark.
Technically, it is physically possible to eat and defecate in the rack. It's just not recommended or allowed. Yeah. But like technically it is possible. Joshua Geese, who's been a member for 31 months, is at the tetrapod level, says, grateful for summer and for all of you here. Thank you very much. And then there's a sun and a heart emoji. Then Tree Clam Tad for $2 says, oh no, the cognitive dissonance, it burns. It's true. Lieutenant
the goggles do nothing.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, Lyle, light travels at infinite speed toward the center of the universe, which is, of course, me. It's true. John Katai just joined the channel at the tetrapod level. Welcome. Thank you very much. Let's see. And then Tree Clam Tan for another $2 says, noted mathist, Dr. Kip Davis. Yes, Kip is in fact a noted mathist.
I am noted.
John Katai, who's been a member for 3 months, sending that very, very quick membership chat, says, I thought I was already subscribed. Whoops. It lapsed, and that's okay. Let's see. Lieutenant Math the Navigator for $5 says, gopher wood is a mistranslation. In the original Greek, it said carbon nanotubes. Oh, yes, of course.
Ammon Hillman, I'm pretty sure, provided that translation.
Yeah.
You know what, Dapper? We also somehow missed the fact that in the biblical text, it completely undermines the creationist argument that, oh, they were babies, because it says that the animals came to or entered the ark, like
active verb,
like under their own power, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't have just been eggs or babies.
It also says the male and its mate, which would imply that they were already mated pairs, which also implies that they were not babies.
Yeah, that they're at least adult age.
Because like
that's right. It does say that.
Yeah.
It uses it's interesting. It actually uses the words for like man, and it's either man or woman in in that particular verse applied to the animal.
Which implies a sexual relationship and not just that a male and female just happen to be there together.
Yeah, it says,
Sure does.
well, ish veish to, which if you were referring to humans, it would be a man and his woman. But yeah, in this, it's talking about animals. So
yeah, generally, so a lot of languages don't have a special word for wife that is separate from the word for woman. And generally speaking, if you talk about something and then you put a possessive pronoun onto the word for woman, that is what you would normally translate into English as wife.
Yes.
You know, Spanish did this quite a bit, actually. I get to say this because of my hyperfixation on the 16th century, is that a lot of manuscripts prior to maybe the late 1700s, early 1800s, say, you know, the man's name and su mujer, his woman. Or, so it's like they didn't even use esposa.
Yep.
Like, what?
In fact, actually, the word wife in English derives from the Anglo-Saxon word that just means woman.
Yeah.
If you use that word in Anglo-Saxon, you're just saying woman.
Yeah.
So English is weird. Yeah. Point. So man in Anglo-Saxon is where, and woman is with. And the word man actually derives from the term werman, which just means a male person, because man just means person, doesn't mean man, it means just person, right? And wifman turns into woman. So werman drops the were, and it only survives in modern English in places like werewolf, which is a man wolf, which means you can't have women werewolves. I'm sorry, it's just not allowed.
Whiff wolf.
Yeah, that would be a whiff wolf. There we go. And then woman keeps the whiff part, but it starts to erode as a result of numerous sound changes all the way down to woman. Yeah. And that's where we get that. But then using whiff on its own with possessive suffixes to refer to wives sticks around as a separate use and ends up giving English a separate word for wife other than woman, which is actually unusual. That's the weird thing. English is weird for having a separate word. All right, I'm going to hit play now that we're done talking about Anglo-Saxon.
So we'll give one example here. Here's the example of the rose.
I am pretty sure those are all the same exact species, but sure, whatever. Go off, man. I don't care.
There are over
plants have different color, therefore evolution fake.
100 varieties of roses. So Baraminology would say, okay, what was the original rose that was in the Garden of Eden? Or were all 1,300 roses in the Garden of Eden? Well,
I don't know, man. It's made up.
They weren't.
We don't know that. It's made up. It's just made up. You know what? We all know it's made up. I don't care. We don't have to belabor it.
Why? Because over the past few centuries, man has bred and created a lot of these new varieties of roses.
They're different colors, man.
I like how this man has no concept of the difference between like a cultivar, a breed, a species, a family. These are all just muddled ideas that just occur in his brain. And he just goes with like, yeah, but there's vibe-based kinds. And that's the real objective truth of biology. All these species and families and cultivars and breeds that we can objectively show existing with objective histories and common ancestry. I don't care about that. I care about the kinds. Oh, okay, cool.
These are like these are all like artificially derived varieties of roses, I'm pretty sure. Aren't they?
It depends. Some quote unquote kinds of roses, by which he seems to just mean color, are actually just white roses that have been fed a lot of water with food coloring in it, basically. So like, if you buy a blue rose, that's a white rose that has had blue dye introduced to it with water.
Listen, this is something I used to work at a rose nursery. So the owners used to travel to Amsterdam every year for like a gigantic rose conference, I guess, agri fair thing, where they would see all the new varieties that were being manufactured by horticultural specialists and things like that. It was very interesting. And yeah, that's what we used to do. We used to take white roses, we used to stick them in blue dye after they were cut, and they would turn blue. It was pretty cool. So yeah.
So yeah, it's a combination of.
I didn't like the blue though. It was I didn't think it was all that nice.
So, well, you probably weren't the target customer for those roses.
Not for those ones, no.
Yeah. That's okay, because one thing that is a matter of opinion is what colors of rose are nice. That is a matter of opinion.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $2 says, no, their wolf, their castle.
One thing that is kind of interesting that it would happen like every year. They would come back and we would end up trying a new variety of like a black rose, which they're never black. Usually it's just the deepest, darkest looking red that anybody can manufacture or make. So yeah.
Free Clam Tat for $2 says, Dutch flower auction, the coolest auction. It is really cool and a surprisingly complicated operation.
God.
I remember learning that existed, and I was blown away that was a thing that was around, that existed in this world. I was like, wow, this is absolutely crazy, and I appreciate that it exists. All right, here we go. We're going to get a little bit more of this guy. Then we'll give a little response. We're going to go on a quick break, and then we'll be back.
All the 1,300 varieties of roses have no new genes.
I would like a citation for that, because I don't think you or anyone else has done that study. Because we do know about new genes that evolve in organisms. It happens fairly regularly. In fact, actually, it happens so often that all creationist models require new genes to evolve in order for them to actually work. So the reason I can say this is because there's this thing called an taxonomically restricted gene, also called an orphan gene, but orphan is spelled wrong because it's actually an acronym and it doesn't matter. But these are found at all levels of taxonomy. That's why they're called taxonomically restricted, right? So there are certain genes that only, say, primates have, and other members of Mammalia don't have. But then within primates, there's a family called Hominidae, and there are hominid unique genes, which are shared by humans and gorillas and orangutans and chimpanzees and bonobos. But there are also species-specific genes. So there are genes that chimpanzees have that bonobos don't, and genes that one species of gorilla have that the other species doesn't. And the only way to realistically get these through creationist models is that these genes evolved in these lineages after they separated from the archetypes and started to diversify into their species that we have now. So if a creationist is telling you that there are no new genes evolving ever, you should feel free to point out that there are taxonomically restricted genes that fall well within the limits of what they call kinds, which means that kinds have to be able to develop new genes, which means we have no basis to say that these varieties of roses don't have new genes. You have to test for it. You can't just tell by looking whether something has a new gene. Because again, science doesn't work on vibes. That's my theme for today, apparently, is science doesn't work on vibes. You can't just be like, it doesn't look like a new gene to me when you're looking at a new rose. How would you visually identify what genes were new? How? I happen to know that dogs have new genes that wolves don't, and they're in the same species. Could you look at them and tell me which ones are new in wolves versus dogs? Kip, you got a dog. Can you look at it and tell me what genes it has that a wolf doesn't have?
Oh, he's not here. No.
Yeah, no, you can't. Let's see. Victoria Macarios for €2 says, werewolf, wemwolf, Wesson wolf. Nice. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue on with this. In the meantime, hopefully I have the right break video queued up, because I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know. It's just going to be a long, weird day. So we'll just say that. But yeah, we're going to get out of here.
You're allowed, I feel like.
Thank you.
Schedule. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're going to be right back after this quick break, and see you on the other side of it. And we are back. Thank you for sticking with us. Those of you who did, I think we have a couple super chats that came in during the break. Let's see. Tree Clam Town for $2 says, Kip doesn't have a dog. He has an abomination. That's true.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. And an author.
That part's not true.
Well, this might be one of those things we have to agree to disagree about. It's a matter of opinion, Kip.
If you met the dog, you would understand.
Yeah, how brilliant he is. Lieutenant Math the Navigator for $2. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, for $2.
He's an amazing dog. He's a brilliant dog. He's a wonderful dog. He's the best dog I've ever owned and the easiest dog I've ever lived with. Doesn't read for shit and can't write.
I feel like he's just like, if that were true, then you couldn't have published a book that he wrote. So like that can't actually be true.
I don't know if you know this, but I've actually published multiple books and written dozens
last I heard
and papers and
Dr. Kip Davis has written no books. That was the last I heard. And it was from a very trustworthy source, as far as I can tell.
Very reliable source.
Yeah. I mean, he's an Egyptologist, Kip.
Wow. He isn't even that. So
I don't. He says he's an Egyptologist, and I, for one, believe him because wouldn't Egyptologists lie to me about being an Egyptologist? Obviously not.
Egyptologists don't lie.
No,
that's true.
Yep.
That's fair.
Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says science isn't a bedroom; it needs more than vibes. Sapphire Plushy Sorcerer's Light for $5 says where? Oh, werewolf. I've looked everywhere. Wolf. Where? Oh, there's where is. Oh, sorry. Oh, where is my werewolf? Oh my goodness! Like who's on first? Then there's a trans flag and a pride flag. AIG eggplant emoji. We will take a drink for the attempt at the AIG as a bag of dicks emoji. And then we've got 5 gifted memberships from Lieutenant Matt the Navigator. Thank you so much. Let me add those.
Dapper drinks. Atomic Squirrel says, but does Dagon play poker? And I have to agree, like, I've seen human art depicting dogs playing poker. And according to the rules we established yesterday, humans doing stuff in art means it's depicting real life.
Yeah, they drew what they saw, I believe is the refrain.
Correct.
Yeah. Humans have never made art of a thing they had never seen before. That's why no new designs are ever made. Which actually reminds me, I designed a candlestick in Blender. And I went to Shapeways to see how much it would cost to have it like cast in bronze at a size that would be reasonable. So that I could actually use it as a candlestick. Kip, would you like to guess how much it would cost to cast my candlestick in bronze or brass or copper, all of which are the same price?
Okay. 176,000 Canadian dollars.
That's probably about it because it's 1,800 US dollars.
Holy shit.
Also, I really think if you sent that file to a number of cosplayers, you could get it cold cast for like a fraction of that.
Probably. And like, I am considering my options because I would like it. And one of my options is just buy it cast in like a heat and flame resistant plastic and then spray paint the thing with a metallic color and then maybe dip it in some kind of non-flammable wash that will give it like a fake patina. Because like that'd work too.
So this kind of reminds me of like when I was a teenager attending an evangelical Christian church, and we had a guest speaker come in once, and his name was Dave Hunt. He's an apologist, and he's written books and a couple of novels, but one of his things that he used to really press on was that there's this passage in 2 Corinthians, I think, about bringing into obedience all imaginations, something to that effect, right? As part of your spiritual discipline, and ran with this to promote the idea that anything that the human mind imagines is probably infected with demons. So you have to be very, very careful about allowing your brain to think about things that weren't like already It's very hard to do that.
Literal thought policing.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. It was a thing.
Well,
imagination bad.
Yeah. I got a few more things to read here. Also, if you are interested, I've already sent the candlestick that I was interested in having printed to my Discord. So if you're curious, you can double check that. But I sent it to you, Kip, here in our messages if you want to see the candlestick.
Oh, I'd like to see that. Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
I know.
So cool.
Can
you imagine that with the help of demons?
Yes, that's true.
Nice.
Specifically data demons in this case. Obviously. Light in the Ignorance for $5 says, dropping in briefly on D&D break, Mothra. We'll take a drink for that, Mothra. Thank you very much. AIG are a bag of former vice presidents of the United States circa 00 to 08. Hydrate before you dihydrate, and Godzilla. So we will take a drink. Thank you. Coast2Com has joined the channel at the tetrapod level. Thank you very much. Everyone send some tetrapod emojis to welcome Kostya. So Coast2Com for $5 says, using young Earth creationist logic, we're only two of each, quote, kind in the garden with Adam and Eve, because they'd be different kinds if you had multiple pairs to start. So I actually have heard some creationists discuss this, and the usual conclusion that they come to is that there is no way to know the original starting numbers of each members of a kind, and that they would still be the same kind because even though they didn't share common ancestry, they were all like reproductively compatible and genetically and morphologically similar to the degree that they were basically the same species, just kind of created de novo. So I don't know of any who take like a dogmatic stance on how many were originally created. I've heard some say that maybe it was 2 for each, just like it was 2 for humans, or some who say, I think some of them might have started out with a larger population, and they vary on it. Yeah. And plus, since they think that all of them either went down to 7, 14, or 2 at the arc, they tend to be less concerned with how many there were before the arc. Because you got to remember that while technically they think of kinds as things that were created at creation, ultimately what really matters for like modern life as far as the young Earth creationists are concerned is what was on the arc in terms of at least terrestrial animals. And let's be honest, they mostly forget that plants and non-terrestrial animals exist and matter and are part of the story of life. So, especially since terrestrial plants should have all gone extinct as a result of the flood, with very few exceptions, like coconuts, basically. Coconut trees, I guess, would probably be fine, but not much else. Not much else.
I love that there's the potential that I guess their quote model would require no speciation before the flood, which
I just had an idea. Okay, guys, Spec Evo project that's only based on what species could reasonably have actually survived Noah's flood. So like we start off with like the only land plants even existing being like coconut trees, and like basically no fish are left. No land tetrapods are left. Like nothing is left except like coconut trees and like some shrimp or something. All right. Let's see. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, climate change can't be real because I saw a historical record of clocks melting from the early 20th century. Clearly temperature is cyclic. You know, I have also seen those melting clocks from the 20th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm not giving my commercial spiel today. You guys know it. Go join the Patreon if you want to. Join the memberships. It really helps. Render for me.
All the genes in those roses were in the original rose, so we believe there was an...
You don't have a reason to say that, buddy. Yeah, you don't know that.
There are all of them in the original rose.
The only way to say that is if you actually had genetic tests for all the varieties of roses, as well as for the quote-unquote original rose, which... good luck finding the genetic code of the original rose, whatever the hell that means.
Original went in the Garden of Eden. This does not prove evolution of microbe to man. This is only variation within a kind.
And that's part of the problem, is that without a definition for what within a kind is, all we need is variation. Because the thing is that kinds aren't a barrier. They're an imposed limit that creationists want to exist, and so they imagine into existence. They are not actual biological entities. They are, as we've talked about before, basically just platonic ideals of organisms that creationists imagine. Because it turns out...
I'm just kind of fascinated by this picture of the Ethiopian wolf swallowing its offspring whole. That's cool.
I think it's vomiting into the offspring's mouth.
It's just kind of amazing.
But also, Ethiopian wolves are one of my favorite members of genus Canis, and they are one of the least known members of the genus Canis, and I think they're really, really cool, and that more people should know about them, along with the Arabian wolf. Both very cool members of the genus Canis that people just don't know about. And
the golden jackal really wants us to take it home and feed him.
Oh, well, it is very hungry looking, yes.
He is.
I also don't actually recommend doing that. But also, I do like that we have domesticated dogs separated out from dingo, even though, in fact, dingoes are part of the group of domesticated dogs. They have been feral for a very long time, but yeah, they are, in fact, part of the group of domesticated dogs. Let's see, we get a couple more super chats here. For $2.10, Math the Navigator says, this is how you end up with cursorial coconuts. Coconuts running across the open plains. Megan Fox's giant boobs for $5 says, post-Noachian world. It's nothing but water bears all the way down. Yes.
Oh my god.
That would be awesome. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says, he probably thinks the original rose was white.
Yes, he does. Absolutely does. Yes.
I hate it. I hate it, even though it's probably true.
Yeah.
Jeez. Actually, The whole Noah's Ark being the source of humanity also actually implies that like humans were originally basically like olive skinned and then evolved dark and lighter skins, which is not true. All of our earliest humans that we have like genetic markers for all seem to have had dark skin no matter where they were living, including like early modern humans in Europe, like far Europe. Dark skin. Mm-hmm. Dark skin is the original ancestral condition for humans. It just is. And anyone who's telling you otherwise either doesn't know what they're talking about or is lying to you.
Next, we use the example of the canids. Here's the canid kind.
Okay, first of all, that's not just canids. That's genus Canis. Every single animal here is Canis something. We've got Canis lupus. First we're starting with Canis latrans, Canis lupus, Canis aureus, Canis lupus. I don't actually remember the scientific name for the Ethiopian wolf. But it's still genus Canis. I do not remember that. And then we've also got another Canis lupus. So I do like that of our 6 Canis members, 3 of them are members of the same species, Canis lupus. But okay.
Now, within this family and genus, there are 6 species here. Coyote, gray wolf, golden jackal, dingo, Ethiopian wolf.
Yeah, we do not have 6 species. We have 4 species here.
Dapper. The Ethiopian wolf, Canis simensis.
Simensis. I am almost certainly not going to remember that, but I will try. Because, again, one of my favorite underappreciated canids is the Ethiopian wolf.
So, you said we have 4 species? Is that because we're excluding the domesticated dog and the dingo or not? Are those the ones that are not?
They're in the same species as the gray wolf.
As the gray wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
All 3 of those are Canis lupus.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, they're all Canis lupus. That's what you were saying.
So, in order, we've got Canis latrans, Canis lupus, Canis aureus, Canis lupus, Canis simensis, and Canis lupus. And if you pay attention, I said Canis lupus 3 whole times.
3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, that dingo wants you to know that the cat's the one that exploded the toilet paper. It does kind of look like that. Dingoes actually are dogs, and they are sometimes kept as pets. So the legal status of dingoes is weird because they're considered to be native, even though they've only really been in Australia for like a few thousand years, like 10 something thousand years, but like not nearly as long as most other animals in Australia. But they've also integrated fairly well into the ecosystem at this point. But also, they tend to associate with humans to some degree, and some native populations do keep them as pets, but they don't usually breed them. They take pups from feral packs, typically, and then just raise them within their community. And then also, some people who are part of, like the European colonial civilization also sometimes will keep dingoes, but they often do end up breeding them rather than taking them from feral packs. So like it's a whole bunch of weird stuff, and I don't super recommend getting a dingo. While they are dogs, they are a particularly wild and not easy to socialize dog. They also have weird vocalizations that you're probably not used to. So like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend owning a dingo unless you're very, very well prepared for owning a dingo and you have done a lot of research. It is not like adopting any other dog because they have been feral for so long. And they retain a lot of those behaviors and instincts from being what is basically a wild dog. So
hey, were they introduced?
Yeah, they were introduced.
Australia?
They came with the humans who first settled in Australia.
Oh, okay. From where?
Other parts of like Southeast Asia, Oceania.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
That was like only because I thought the Aboriginals in Australia have been there for like thousands and thousands of years.
Well, that's why I said 10,000-ish.
Oh, I heard. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I amended thousands to like around 10,000 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Cool. And also, their closest relatives are the singing dogs of New Guinea.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tree Clam Tat for $2 says dingoes are the raccoon of Australia. Kinda. There's ways I could see that. Also, did you know that the raccoon is the raccoon of Spain because people brought them in as pets and then let them go, and now there's a bunch of raccoons running around Spain?
Nice.
Yeah, and it turns out that because they're extremely adaptable and good at living alongside humans, there's just wild raccoon populations causing problems in parts of Spain now. So that's fun. But then again, there are...
Did you know that if you ever move to Toronto, you have to share the city with raccoons?
I mean, I just assume that that's the case in basically any part of the United States that isn't the desert. Or sorry, North America that isn't the desert.
Oh, yeah, but it's especially bad in Toronto.
I didn't know that it was especially bad there. But also, do you know that Germany has a wild rhea population?
What?
Yeah. A wild what?
Rhea population.
I don't know what that is.
Rheas are large birds similar to emus that live in South America.
And Germany.
Oh.
Yeah, they were popular parts of petting zoo attractions in Germany, and then some escaped and started breeding in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And domesticated dog, of which there are approximately 360 recognized breeds. Now you might say, well, were all these in the Garden of Eden? I think not.
I'm glad that you don't think that all 360 recognized breeds were in the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
You know what? That's true. That's even if the story were true, they probably wouldn't be. I'm going to take a drink because I'm thirsty. Who cares?
Also, Chad is saying archaeological and genetic evidence indicates that humans arrived in Australia approximately 60,000 years ago.
60,000. All right. Well, then there you go. 60,000.
That's great.
It seems like a really long time,
Also,
given that New Zealand was only inhabited like 800 years ago. Like, how do you get to Australia 60,000 years ago? And then it takes you another 60,000 plus-ish years for humans to show up in New Zealand. What is the deal?
Australia big.
As far as I'm aware, they didn't even come from
sailing.
Australia.
Yeah. And I guess like people didn't show up in the Falkland Islands until like the 19th century. So
I just think it's ironic that Spain has to deal with an invasive species.
I mean, Germany too.
That's true. Yeah, Germany too.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to say Falkland Islands, least problematic colonization effort by the British. Because there was no one there. They didn't steal that land from anyone. They were uninhabited islands. Sure, they drove a few species to extinction, which isn't great, but like they didn't do a genocide, which is more than you can say about most of their colonization efforts.
The whole Battle of the Falklands keeps getting relitigated, and it's like, no, you're not going to be allowed to keep slaves.
Yeah.
Why? Because they can interbreed. They probably descended from one kind. In fact, if you breed a coyote with a wolf together, you produce a coy wolf.
One word. Hamster.
Yeah. Yeah, Kip, you know about the hamster, right?
No, what is this?
The hamster is a animal with a human father and a hamster mother.
Yikes.
And these are things that I don't think any currently exist, but they have existed. And the way this works is that this is a fairly old test for male infertility, or for fertility, I guess, right? And so the idea is one of the possible causes for male infertility is that the spermatozoa cannot actually penetrate the ovum as a result of some defect, whether it be chemical or weak, flagellum, whatever, right? There's a number of reasons why that could be. But if that's the case, you can actually do an artificial conception where basically you just take the sperm and you physically insert it into the ovum to get a fertilized embryo. Which, okay, sure, now we know.
I feel like we should always apologize to people before telling them about the hamster, because you can't unknow that.
Yeah, if you want to not know about the hamster, you should tune out now and come back in like 5-ish minutes. So an old test for whether or not that was the problem with fertility would be to take a hamster ovum, remove the zona pellucida, which is a membrane that does sort of like a protein check that says, hey, are you the right species to come in here? And then see if the human sperm can penetrate the hamster ovum. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper and less legally troublesome to get large quantities of hamster ova than human ova, right? So it turns out, though, that when you do this, if the human sperm successfully penetrates the hamster ovum, it will then have its chromosomes go into the nucleus and they'll join into a new genome. And that fertilized zygote will then go on to start dividing, and it will go through a few different rounds of cell division before it dies. Whoa. But that's an animal. And that animal has a human father and a female mother, a hamster mother. That's what that is. So if our definition of what counts as a species is organisms that can produce offspring, and remember, creationists will accept mules, which are not viable.
You did say that they don't survive, though, right? Like you said that
nothing survives in the long run.
No, but you said that the process, if I understood that correctly, right? The process, the process ends pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, how quick is quick enough? Wow. Because let's remember, creationists accept a camel llama hybrid as a valid indication of being the same kind. That didn't survive to adulthood, and it had to be artificially created in addition to that, just like the hamster. They will also accept the one known African Asian elephant hybrid, which also died in infancy, as evidence that elephants are in the same kind.
Right. Okay. I also see people in the chat keep saying humpster with a P.
No, there's no P.
Right?
No, it's humster, Humstr. As Lieutenant Matt the Navigator has it in his $5 super chat, which says the humster sounds like a DC Comics low tier supervillain. That does actually. It's like
I've noticed that people want to spell hamster with a P a lot.
Really? Like it's a hamper?
Wow.
Yeah.
Hamster. All right. You know what? Here's an idea. Have the hamster be the new arch nemesis of Squirrel Girl.
No.
Like, why not? We have a Squirrel Girl. Like, obviously, her arch nemesis should be a hamster that survived to adulthood.
Well, I mean, she'd still win, but yeah.
Well, obviously. Tree Clam Tat for $5 says, on a long enough timeline, everyone's survival rate drops to 0. Dapper Durden.
Yes.
But just right above that noise ending said if they used a gerbil, they could have called it a hugerbil.
But see, that's the thing, right? If all we're saying is they can produce offspring, which is all creations ever do because they like to combine elephants and camels and whatnot into the same kind, then I'm sorry, humans and hamsters are in the same kind by that definition. So,
in fact, even our coyotes in Pennsylvania, that they've looked at them, they have wolf DNA.
They also have significant amounts of dog DNA, which makes them much less shy around humans. Eastern coyotes are dangerous. So, yeah.
Them. And even creation scientists agree with secular scientists that all these canids came from an original wolf or wolf-like ancestor.
That's true. Take a drink. But like, when you say, oh, the secular scientists agree that all these animals that you put on screen have a common ancestor, that's going to be true for any collection of animals. So it's kind of pointless to say it. Like if one of those dogs had been an iguana and you had said scientists believe all these animals had a common ancestor, that'd be true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You might say, I can't believe that all these 6 fascinatingly different animals,
3 of whom are in the same species, but okay.
Really?
All came from the wolf. They're so different. Well, I'll ask you, do you think there's...
Oh, sorry.
To use the Kent-Hovind metric, a child could tell that those are related.
Yeah, the 6-year-old method.
Why would he go, you may think it's not possible, or you may not believe? Like, who would not believe that those are related?
Actually, one of my earliest videos on the channel is me asking some of my nieces and one of my nephews who were, around the age that Hovind likes to ask kids, which of the on-screen animals is a dinosaur and which one is a bird. And they all gave slightly different answers, indicating that actually, no, you can't just ask a child which ones are in the same kind, because they will give you different answers. I think I need to figure, because I have new super chats and I need to figure out which ones are which. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Isabella Traster, there we go. For $5 says, if you're a human hamster hybrid, I feel like you don't have a choice but to become a supervillain. Yeah. That there is a fair argument to be made there. Like, who would be accepting you? Which ultimately is also the backstory for the Power Rangers Time Force villain. He was a mutant rejected by human society, and so he turned to a life of villainy. Yeah, of course, it actually also turns out he was kind of a dick regardless of that. But he gets a redemption arc. Okay. And then they also had the 2 characters fall in love, and then when one of them is going to go back to her own time in the distant future, they just have a nice hug. Because Power Rangers decided that we can't do kisses anymore, even though we did kisses in the first few seasons. Not anymore. Yeah. Which is a little annoying. Megan Fox's Giant Boobs for $5 says, Eastern coyotes are what happens when we try to play God. Yeah, basically, Eastern coyotes are animals that are moving into what used to be the territory of mostly the gray wolf and to some degree the red wolf, Canis rufus, in the eastern parts of North America. And they are themselves mostly coyote in terms of ancestry, but they also have significant like wild gray wolf and domesticated dog DNA, which makes them bigger, less shy, and more aggressive. So they're just overall more dangerous than Western coyotes, like the ones that we have around where I live. So if you see a coyote and you are basically not in the North American South or Southwest, or even parts of the South, like the eastern parts of the South, yeah, keep a wide berth. You might not be able to just scare it away like you can with most coyotes. Because around here, if you see a coyote, if you just throw a rock, it's probably going to scamper off. Not so true in the east.
Coyotes here, it's a mix of they see you and start running, and they see you and just don't care. They'll just walk past you like, oh, all right. Because both have happened to me personally.
Yep.
There's a great difference in these 6 animals. What about these 2 animals? The miniature Chihuahua and the Great Dane. Is there a great difference? There's a much greater difference.
On the basis of what? Genetically, those 2 animals are almost exactly the same.
We have really, really, really small humans and we're really, really, really tall humans. Big deal.
But we know that both of these animals came from the same original ancestor. Why? Because man bred them.
Okay, I'm going to just point out here.
Genetics too, dude.
I'm just going to take a drink because I think this guy is not realizing the case that he's making. If that amount of morphological diversity can be derived from a common ancestor, which is the point he's making, are you going to then tell me that the much smaller amount of morphological difference between a chimpanzee and a human can't be brought about by common ancestry? Because I got to be honest, morphologically, that Great Dane and that Chihuahua are significantly more different than you are from a chimpanzee. So what are we doing? What is the rule that we're going with here? Because as is typical, every attempt to define kinds by creationists either creates too many kinds to fit on the ark, and so they can't do that, or it is so broad that it ends up lumping humans in with non-humans. And I would argue that if we're using the morphological difference here as saying this is not too extreme for within kinds evolution, then neither is humans and chimpanzees sharing a common ancestor. Yeah. Victoria Macarios for €5 says, I feel the need to inform people that male chihuahuas can and will impregnate Great Danes who are lying down. Also, AIG is a bag of dicks. And we will take a break. Sorry, a drink. And I feel like this is the second or the third time that Victoria Macarios has made sure that we know about this. Victoria, do you have a secret Chihuahua Great Dane breeding program that you want to tell us about? Because I feel like that might be what's happening right now. I feel like Victoria might be off making like, I don't know, like, what do you call that? Chihuahuadanes? Chihuahuadanes, that's what I'm going to go for. And like, in her backyard. And she's got some very medium-sized, very confused puppies.
We bred them. We created these. And so here it goes back to the most common argument. It's what your teacher's going to say. See, that's evolution.
I mean, it literally is, because evolution is a change in the heritable characteristics of a population over time. And that's what that is. Stephen G. Klinner for $5 says, the best way to manage coyotes is to give them mail order catalogs. Yeah. They'll buy their own anvils to drop on their own heads. Problem solved. I have not updated this for a little while. I gotta make sure I update this. There we go. And I will take a drink for Dapper's Professional for not having done so earlier. Great Chihuahuas, says Illabella Tracer. But here's the problem, though. When you're doing the hybrid animal names, by convention, the name of the creature that is the father comes first and then the mother after. That's why it's why technically a coy wolf is a male coyote with a female wolf. So technically a Great Chihuahua would be like a Great Dane father with a Chihuahua mother, which you could probably do as long as you did like a surrogate pregnancy, right? Like the female Chihuahua clearly cannot carry those pups to term.
No.
But like if you removed the fertilized embryos and implanted them into like, say, a Great Dane, then maybe that could work.
That would work.
Well, I mean, horses are pretty much all born via surrogacy, so we know how to do surrogacy in domesticated animals. So I would think it could probably work. Which also, I remember finding out that basically horses, like in domesticated settings, just don't ever have sex anymore. Like, they harvest gametes from both sexes from the particular horses they want to breed. They fertilize the ova with the particular sperm that they want in vitro, and then that is implanted into a surrogate mare who is less valuable than the mare that you're actually using for the genetic stock. And that is basically how all horses are produced in a domesticated setting at this point. And it's like, it's a little weird that like we've basically done Brave New World, but for horses.
Yes.
That feels weird to me. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says, or humans and werewolves in the case of some young Earth creationists. They're called Chi Dane Dane, says Jillian Wren. Okay, a number of people are telling me that.
Interesting.
Okay, Chi Dane Danes. That's very weird.
Dane.
I have no idea.
Because wah.
Oh, very nice. I got it. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Evolution in process. The wolf evolved into the Chihuahua. Does anyone see a problem with that?
No.
Evolution requires what? Survival of the fittest.
Okay. It doesn't
actually,
but
you're making an assumption here about.
Yeah, he's just going to say, these animals aren't fit, except that they are. And the way that we can tell is because fitness is measured by reproductive output. And if Great Danes and Chihuahuas didn't have enough reproductive output to stick around because they're unfit, then they wouldn't be around.
There's this weird thing among a lot of creationist apologists that I see where they've deemed certain types of dogs as more superior than other types of dogs, and cats too. They're like, dogs are better than cats, and it's like they've got these, and lots of times they're joking about it, right? But are they actually joking about it? It's it's very on the nose.
Also, tend to say that the larger the dog is, the more fit it is, and the more quote information it has also.
Because look at all that space to put all the information in.
Yeah, you can shove way more information in a Great Dane than a Chihuahua, clearly. Because it's definitely not the cell size that would matter if anything mattered. Because the difference between a Chihuahua and a Great Dane is primarily just how many cells they have. It's not actually how much DNA they have. That's not a thing that's different between them. I mean, obviously it's going to be slightly different because no two animals are going to have the exact same number of base pairs, but like there's no significant measurable difference. Jessica Transmetal Alchemist for $5 reduce says, so, okay, I think it's Vegito. There, sorry. So Vegito is when Vegeta is the father, Goku is the mother. Gogeta is when Goku is the father and Vegeta is the mother. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I'm also going to take a drink for making me think about that. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says, it's not just types of dogs. All right, here we go. Let's see how... Okay, first, I want everyone to think about what he's saying about these dogs. And then think about what it would feel like or sound like for him to apply the same standards to humans whom he also knows have a common ancestor. Stephen G. Cleaner, who's been member for 28 months, says, they must think German Shepherds are the most fit. Yeah. Gross. Not that German Shepherds are gross. I love German Shepherds are great.
What happen if you put that Chihuahua up with the Arctic wolves? How long is it going to last? Might be a quick snack for a wolf. No, it's not going to survive.
Okay, what if you took those Arctic wolves and put them in the Sahara? They also wouldn't survive. Does that mean that they're as fit as Chihuahuas because you can find an environment where they wouldn't survive? Like, what are we doing here? Right? Like, oh, you think whales are fit? Well, what if you put them on top of a mountain in Alaska?
No, what if you put them on the moon? Like
there we go. Right. Whales on the moon. What? The fact that you can take an organism and put it in a new environment and it won't do well is not an indication that that organism isn't fit in the environment it evolved in. And in the case of Chihuahuas, the environment it evolved in is an environment where some organisms encourage it and help feed it and give it food and water and breeding partners in exchange basically for it being cute, companionable, and also kind of sometimes being a replacement for a hot water bottle. Josh McGee's for $2 says, volume of dog does not equal volume of information contained. Yeah. Except that they think that way. I have literally seen Ken Ham and other AIG stooges show you a cartoon of dogs of decreasing size with an arrow going down that says less information. Yeah. Like, that's a cartoon they show.
So dumb.
Is that a does not equals, though? Because I see two equal signs.
I think it's a does not equal.
Oh, okay.
Because if it was equal, why wouldn't it just be one equal sign?
Right. I've never noticed.
When I see somebody negating it, I usually see exclamation equal for does not equal, but
I also sometimes see. Sometimes I also see equal/equal because in math you usually put the slash.
I wondered if maybe that's what it was,
or maybe it just is equal. Programmers use equal for not equal. Okay.
Oh, okay. Got it.
See. Grievous says Desmond the Moon Bear with musical notes indicating I shouldn't sing it, but I don't know what the tune is, so my apologies there.
It has to be better. It has to be improved. Great Dane's not going to be able to hunt in the Arctic. In a couple of weeks, he's going to be.
Wait, what?
Okay,
what's
but
happening to
the Great Dane? It can't hunt in the Arctic. It can't hunt in the Arctic, which is probably true. But I think it could probably hunt pretty well in like a temperate forest.
I don't understand what that has to do with any. I'm very
He's literally just picking environments in which an animal wouldn't survive and then saying, "See, therefore it's not fit." As if you couldn't do that with every single animal.
Everything, literally everything.
Pick an animal. I can find an environment where it won't survive if you give it a certain amount of time, right?
Hey, guess what? I would probably suck at living at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, I feel like I would. It wouldn't be very. I might not even get there before I'm dead.
Well, don't go in an Ocean Gate submarine.
Yeah.
No, that, right? Like, I mean, even, but yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not hard to find an environment that any given animal wouldn't live in and then say, ha, see, look how worthless this animal is. Cool. Great. I don't know why anyone would think that that's a good argument about anything. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, Pat's Great Dane behind the ears. You can fit so much information in this, good boy.
Yeah, seriously.
Look how big it is. It's like when creationists are like, do you know how many volumes it would take to encode your entire genetic sequence? And the answer is like, it would be like one bookshelf worth of books. And they're like, it would fill up the whole Grand Canyon. And it's like, yeah, if you took out every single bit of DNA from every individual cell, which would just be multiple copies of the same thing. Oh, okay. Josh McGee says, exclamation mark equal is not equal. Equal is for equal is my vestigial-ish scripting coming through. Oh.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
All right. Oh, hey, we just actually did get the goal achieved. So, Kip, if you want to, feel free.
Fucking time.
There you go.
So there I go. So I listen to. I haven't in a little while. Before every now and then I go through these phases of listening to a wonderful podcast called Radio Lab, and I distinctly remember an episode where they addressed this issue of DNA and complexity, and talked about how on like some metrics the genome for like corn is remarkably more complex than the human genome. And
tomatoes
are crazy,
right? Like, and it was like, I think, this was like when one of these, I'm not a bright man and the lights go on slowly for me sometimes, but this is one of these moments, right? Where I was like, oh yeah, okay. Complexity is because like there just is a whole bunch of like random shit in there that just doesn't go anywhere or do anything seemingly, right? Like it's all just kind of like I would imagine life would develop if it was not in any way directed. It happens because it's literally like throwing spaghetti at the wall over and over, again, and in order to see what's going to stick eventually. Yeah.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, neither whales nor petunias are fit for the stratosphere. Both true, and also I just have to say, not again. All right, we're going to get a little bit more of this guy in here, and we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon.
Gone. Additionally, you could go from a wolf and breed down to a Chihuahua over several centuries, or breed down to a Great Dane over several centuries. But here's the point. You can never go from a Chihuahua or a Great Dane and breed back to the original that God created, the wolf. Why? It's lost those genes.
Okay, I need everyone to hear me very clearly here. That Chihuahua has more genes than a gray wolf, a wild gray wolf. Dogs have more genes than wolves. Okay?
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Now, they do have less genetic diversity than wolves per breed, because most breeds have extremely shallow gene pools. This man does not know the difference between a gene and an allele. A gene is a segment of DNA that codes for a protein. An allele are different variations of genes. So, for instance, let's pretend that a single gene controlled hair color. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but we'll just pretend, right? So, a person with brown hair, blonde hair, and red hair all have the same gene for hair color. What they have is different alleles of that gene. In this case, it will probably be a gene that controls the type and production of melanin. Okay? So when this guy says these dogs they've lost the genes to be wolves, he doesn't know what he's talking about, because they've in fact gained genes, and I'm not aware of any actual notable gene deletions in the lineage going from wolves to dogs. So if anything, they've gained genes. Grievous for $2 says, It's how life would be if it was vibe coded, though.
Yeah.
Sealu for 26 says, you misread confirmed is contained in Josh's super chat. Let's go back and double check. Neither whales nor petunias are... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. In Josh's super chat. Where did that go? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I caught that too.
I will read it correctly then. I will fix this problem if I can find it. Where did it go?
We've spent a lot of time on this super chat.
All right, fine. I won't correct it. I'm sorry, Josh.
I can do it. I've got it right here.
Okay, do it.
No, I don't. Sorry.
Why would you lie to be like this, Kip?
I didn't have it right. Okay, I've got it right here. Volume of dog is equal to volume of information confirmed with a hilarious laughing emoji.
Yes. Okay, got it. Sorry for screwing that one up so badly. All right.
It's all good. You're entitled today. It's like you've got
I've still got two more streams. It's two more streams to go after this.
You're
Fool.
You're gonna
yes.
This is going to
I might die.
end you.
Yeah.
I think you might.
Final day of the Dapper Dinosaur channel right now, everybody. I'll have to leave it to someone else to upload my final videos. Not upload, but to publish them.
Oh, I mean, since this is my backup channel, I guess it's up to me now.
Actually, that is true. Yeah. It's in my will.
This is now a Bible channel.
I did not agree to that.
Oh no, a hockey channel. This is actually. Oh yes, that's what I want to do with my backup channel. Yesterday was the NHL entry draft, by the way. So
I heard.
Yeah. Really? How did you hear that?
Sometimes people tell me things about sports ball.
Crazy. Okay.
It's lost that.
I was happy.
DNA. Unless you think a Chihuahua wasn't bred from a wolf, I'll tell you it was.
It was. We'll take a drink. That's true. It was bred from a wolf. It still is a wolf, actually.
My family since about 1980.
Oh, that's odd. I don't know why it went up to 1.5 speed.
80. I can guarantee you those things came from the wolves. We have one, and my son says if it was the size of a pit bull, it would have been put down years ago. But that's kind of...
Yeah, it turns out the same behavior is of different levels of concern based on which animal is exhibiting it. So, yeah. And I'll be honest, I let Carmen do things that I would never let a large dog do. Like step on my leg. I would not let a Great Dane just step on my leg casually. I let Carmen do it because, she weighs like, what, 1.5 pounds? I don't care.
Funny, but you can see that in animals. How they were bred from wild animals. What about the lion and the tiger?
All right, so he's going to go into ligers, I suppose. I've actually seen a liger in real life. They are very impressive animals. Yeah. Yeah. So, but that being said, I think we're actually going to start wrapping up. So, Kip, what do you got coming up that you want to tell people about?
Budget Scripture Saturday is tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Dr. Tapioca Weasel.
No, you got that.
Will be.
Oh no.
What?
I thought you said 10 Eastern and 10 Pacific and 7 Eastern, and I got confused. Sorry, never mind.
Because you don't listen to me, so it's fine. So it's and Dr. Tapioca Weasel and Nitty will be on with me as usual. So I'll be doing a Hebrew reading stream on Thursday at the usual time, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific on my channel. And Rabbi Chana, the Rebel Rabbi, will be joining me, and we will be reading Zechariah chapter 6. Zechariah, guys, I'm having so much fun reading the book of Zechariah because holy shit, it is fucking crazy. Like, seriously, it's just the funnest book, honestly. Did you know that in the last episode of Zechariah chapter 5, there was a giant scroll in the sky and a curse came out of it, and then a jar came out of it, and the lead top of the jar was opened, and the angel reached inside to pull out not a rabbit, but, oh God, it's a woman. And then he like shoved her back in and said, she's evil, and slammed the lid back down on the jar. And then 2 more women came out of the scroll with wings, and they picked up the jar and flew up into the sky between like the top and the the bottom. This is all in the book of Zechariah. It's amazing. So that's on Thursday. However, I'm taking next weekend off, so there will be no stream on Friday, and I will not be here on Saturday next weekend. So that's the week.
In other words, Kip has abandoned us again.
Again.
Yeah.
But I've also abandoned me.
Also, earlier today, he said, I'm always here for Saturday. Turns out that was a lie. All right. So, Vishanti, do you have anything coming up you want people to know about?
No, just life stuff.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see what is coming up here. So, at I believe 3, I'm double checking in case I'm lying to you, which wouldn't be lying. It would just be being mistaken. But I believe at 3, I've got the next stream coming up. Let's see. Yeah, I believe it's at 3. It is Dirac neutrino photon flood theory. And if you feel like that doesn't mean anything, it's because you are insufficiently versed in the scientific genius of Roger Spur, who is in fact a genius. Oh, so it's 3:30 p.m. Sorry, 3:30 is when I'm going to be doing that. And that should be with Dr. Tapioca Weasel. Then later on after that, I will be on Debate Pub with Chesh and Landon and Manya, except maybe not Chesh because she's still moving. So, like, I don't know what the deal is there. And that will be for our news thing, where we do like various news stories. And everyone thinks that I prepare for that show, and I don't. I never prepare. I always just give candid takes. Although, to be fair, I usually am aware of the stories. So, like, whatever. Sometimes I even suggest them. So those are the 2 last streams that I have for today. John Kitaya says, but do you have cheeseburger? Because I had earlier said I has no brain. And the answer to that is no, I has no cheeseburger. Although I do kind of want a cheeseburger, but I really shouldn't. I shouldn't have a cheeseburger. All right, so that is us today. Then on Tuesday, we've got Kent with Bent coming up. It is, let's see, what is the title that I gave this one? Kent Hovind is an idiot, a liar, and a friend of PDF file, or sorry, friend to PDF files. All of those things are in fact verifiably true. Let's see. Then, so that'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Then on Thursday, I have not scheduled it, but there will be a show at noon. So noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll schedule it later on today. I don't remember which one it's going to be, so it'll be something. Then on on Friday, Star Trek Endurance should be back. That is the plan. So we'll be having.
Not be here.
I know.
Oh, no, we're not doing it next weekend, right? No, we are doing it next weekend, but I won't be here for that because I'm taking the weekend off.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
And nothing says taking time off like deciding not to play fun games.
I got things I gotta get done.
I know.
Sorry.
I'm just bullying you. Let's see. Then Saturday, we'll be back here for more of this, except there will be no Kip. So maybe I will try to get another Canadian to join. Who knows?
I see.
I know some Canadians.
Yeah, I know some Canadians too. Maybe I'll ask some of them.
To just be the 2 of us, and now I'm not enough.
Do you want it to just be you and me, Vish? Because we can do that.
Sake.
Okay,
I haven't done that for a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while. All right, yeah, it'll just be me and Vish. And we'll draw hearts around and put the words "friends forever" inside them.
I think I'm gonna start sending some heart emojis right now because that's so cute.
Yeah, we're gonna on the front of the screen, I'm gonna draw a big heart, and inside it will say BFFS. Then the next line will say 4EVR.
Yeah.
And that's
I love it.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. We're not watching Star Trek today because I am going to take a quick break between this stream and my next stream coming up in an hour and a half.
You need it.
So yeah, I'm just not going to do that. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for everyone who super chatted, everyone who sent memberships. It really does mean a lot. I am keeping this donations counter through to the next one, which will be again at 3:30 Pacific.
I'm just crushing the shit out of
6:30 Eastern.
Noise
Yes.
Ending says that we should spend the whole stream discussing Twin Peaks: The Return episode 8, which I legitimately could do for 2 hours.
That's the one with the Alpha Bravo test, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the David Lynch universe origin story.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that's what we're going to do, but I can see why you would want to do that, and it would be fun. But I'm going to get out of here.
Definitely
I'm going to give my voice a little hour and a half break, and then come back for Dr. Tapioca Weasel.
All right.
So later, everybody, and also ice must be abolished. Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Sealoof, Ben Tovind, Tapioca Weasel, The Plastic Mouse, Mikhail Dominiak, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon Knoll, Ian Chen, Eleron Teller, Phil Rivera, David Hercules, Joshua Geese, Dan Sheedy, Pegajace, Arrow Dodger, Gordon Love Science, Ember Athelian, Prixie Purple, Agricola Sequa, Me, Myself, and I, Ian Kiambi, Edwin M., Kenneth Swenson, and John Ackerman. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.